You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account, a friend paying you back, or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card, or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
LeBron
Luka
James.
Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
LeBron James.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony
LeBron
Davis.
James.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony
Zach
Davis.
Lavine.
Luka
LeBron
Doncic.
James.
Anthony
Zach
Davis.
Lavine.
Luka Doncic.
LeBron James.
Anthony Davis.
Luka Doncic.
LeBron James.
Anthony
Fox.
Davis.
Doncic.
LeBron James.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony
Zach
Davis.
Lavine.
LeBron
Luka
James.
Doncic.
De'Aaron Fox.
Anthony Davis.
LeBron
Luka
James.
Doncic.
Anthony
Zach
Davis.
Lavine.
LeBron James.
De'Aaron
Luka
Fox.
Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
LeBron James.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
Luka Doncic.
Kevin Herter.
Zach
Anthony
Lavine.
Davis.
LeBron James.
De'Aaron
Luka
Fox.
Doncic.
LeBron James.
Anthony Davis.
Kevin
De'Aaron
Herter.
Fox.
LeBron
Zach
James.
Lavine.
Anthony Davis.
LeBron James.
Kevin Herter.
Boobs at the
Doncic.
Grammys.
Anthony Davis.
LeBron James.
Luka Doncic.
LeBron James.
Carter
Anthony
Verhaeghe hat trick.
Davis.
LeBron
Boobs at the
James.
Grammys.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony
Tariffs.
Davis.
Luka Doncic.
Miko Rantanen.
Tariffs.
Luka Doncic.
PFBI
Anthony
Gala.
Davis.
Tariffs.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony
Hidalgo.
Davis.
Luka Doncic.
Mo Bamba.
Tariffs.
Luka Doncic.
LeBron James.
Anthony Davis.
Luka Doncic.
LeBron James.
Boobs
De'Aaron
at the
Fox.
Grammys.
Anthony
Luka
Davis.
Doncic.
LeBron
Tony D'Angelo.
James.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
LeBron
Luka
James.
Doncic.
Anthony
Duke UNC.
Davis.
LeBron James.
Luka Doncic.
Jaden Smith's house.
Luka
Bulls suck.
Doncic.
Anthony Davis.
Miami men's basketball won?
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We're just receiving word of a massive trade in the NBA. The Lakers have traded Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Luka Doncic. In a 3-team deal.
This is the holy grail, okay? And the only kind of thing that can knock off Kansas City Chiefs three-peat Super Bowl. Baseball used to be able to do this. Baseball cannot do this. Baseball used to own the transaction.
Yeah.
The transaction now belongs to basketball. And I hadn't realized until this trade, oh, holy God, we're going into Super Bowl week. And the trade deadline is at the same time. That hasn't happened before. It's because the regular season is longer. Is that why that's happening? Like, these two things don't happen at the same time, and we're going to have them happening at the same time. And it starts with the reason this is the Holy Grail, Stugotz, isn't just that it's stars and shocking, okay? Because that would make it enough to be like, oh, my God, everyone in sports is going to be clucking about this. But it's also these two things that you don't get to have all the time. Possible malpractice, like where we can all go to the Dallas GM, who many of us learned his name. Like, whoa, is that just straight incompetence? So there's that.
Right.
And then this is what makes it the Holy Grail, right here, what I'm about to say. Fishy. Fishy Fishy. When I throw Fishy in the mix.
People love
Oh,
Fishy.
my God.
Yes, they do.
Oh, my God. So it's not just stars shocking. What do you mean Luka's being traded? Oh, look, I'm used to athlete divas, so I get, wait a minute, just out of shape and won't play defense? No, you give him the Supermax, idiot. He's one of the most historic players ever. He's 25 years old. This player never gets traded. And when I walk into the room today and I'm like, give me worst trades in basketball history, everyone's got an opinion, and it's immediately this. This is the worst trade in NBA history. Everyone's got that opinion, except for Charles Barkley. We'll get to him in a second. But man, oh man, to see the last 15 years transact into this, where you realize that the damage done on LeBron James is, good Lord, do we make Anthony Davis a peasant for serving him the last few years? That's a great player that everyone mocks today. Like, that player's usually not available at 32 years old unless he's disgruntled.
He's been available twice.
I know, but I'm saying when you look at what you're...
You mean like historically? Fitness-wise?
Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's mocking him about the fact that in the last 4 years, he's only played 76 or 60 games once, and it was last year.
Right. Yeah.
But he's also shot 26% from three since the bubble. Like, that's crazy. That's worse than the league stuff. Like, that's a lot worse than Russell Westbrook. But people are devaluing what that player is. And I got a bunch of sound I want to play for you here. But what other elements do I need to put in this story for it to be the seismic thing that shakes the Super Bowl and now leads us into the trade deadline? And what was already, for me, used to be a miserable week because it was just the Super Bowl. But you throw the trade deadline in the mix.
Oh, wow. Yeah, little bonus, little gravy on top. How about that? The NBA wins a weekend. I mean, although they would not have won that weekend if Titans-Jags played yesterday. I'm telling you, if we had a single NFL game to talk about, I'm not certain we lead with this NBA trade.
AFC, whatever, NFC 73, AFC 65. Okay, and we all agree. Time to get rid of all the exhibitions.
It was a tug of war.
I love the Pro Bowl games.
Really?
Take it back. It's fun. It's like when you get a good television crossover episode, you're like, oh, look, it's Baker Mayfield and Jackson Smith and Jigba like hanging out like they're friends.
He's throwing dirt.
He's throwing interceptions. He's throwing touchdowns. It's great. I love it.
I was watching The Clash at Bowman Gray.
We all woke up to this, yes? Or were some people...
No, I was out. And then I said the same thing that everybody did. Like, did Shams get hacked? And then 4 minutes later, he was like, no, this is real. And I was texting other NBA insiders asking if Shams got hacked. And they were saying, like, no, we're hearing it's real.
Yes, this is real, he tweeted. That rarely happens.
Remember when the Miami Heat were like, Shams doesn't know what he's talking about? And even this trade was so absurd that even I doubted the dude that once broke Donald Trump had COVID.
Yeah, Shams doesn't get very much wrong. And I'd like to go through, Stugotz, some of what was happening here. Because before we get to Nico Harrison, put it on the poll at Batard Show. Did you know Nico Harrison was the Mavs GM before he realized his incompetence? Because everyone is looking at this as an act of sheer incompetence to only offer a generational player. Like Stan Van Gundy says, best offensive player ever. Stugotz, this player's never available at this age by trade. To have the Mavs show you, oh, Mark Cuban's not running things anymore. He's not the voice on this. You're not seeing him in public anymore. Oh, he's out. He owns 27% of the team, but there it is. They didn't want to pay him the Supermax, and we will say, well, out of shape, and this part, Stugotz, is interesting. The Miami Heat are now loading up for 2026, and those deals aren't made a year from now. Like, those deals get made back channels, however it is that you make those deals on, okay, we're going to build a team around Luka in 2026, right? Like, wink, wink.
Right.
However it is that stuff happens in the corridors, like whatever it is that you think Pat Riley is doing right now is not just about Jimmy Butler, okay? It's about what do we have in 2026, and you can imagine the movement all around that and everyone asking, how does that player go to the Lakers, right? Look, that's also extra fishy, as you have LeBron James saying he didn't know anything, and nobody believes that. Nobody. There's just
That's funny.
That could be. It must be very frustrating if it were factual for LeBron James. If it were factual that he didn't actually know anything.
He knew.
Now, what I understand, Stugotz?
Yep.
Yes, no one disagrees with you. I'm just saying how frustrating it must be to think, because he went on the internet and he's putting out clown tweets and calling people liars because it's being reported that he was at dinner and he knew nothing about this.
Well, there was that video from, I think it was last week, where reporters were strangely asking Anthony Davis about his Lakers legacy, and Anthony Davis is like, "Are you guys trading me?" And someone goes, "Check your phone" at the very end of it. So, look, the Mavericks approached the Lakers, which I think is like the most insane part about all of this. Rob Pelinka reportedly was like, "Are you me right now?"
Has anyone stopped to think as to why the Mavericks would do this deal? Nico Harrison knew he would be a punchline after making this deal. He knew that he was giving up a 25-year-old generational player who took him to the NBA Finals. But why did he give him up? Why did he decide to choose to build around Kyrie Irving instead of Luka? Think about that for a second.
Stugotz, everyone in this. Do you realize how rare it is for America as one? Sports fans, on behalf of we care about the transaction, for us to shout at the sky, "Dallas, you fools!" All of us together, a song into the sky. No, Mark Cuban runs for the shadows. He's been in the lights for how long? I don't want anything to do with this. Whoever it is that's running the Mavericks now, and go look at some of the past there, because you've got a lot of this hiding in the shadows in ownership, doesn't want to be associated with that gets the Supermax. So they have to get rid of it. But how do you do that? How do I form the argument? Because I'm going to try. How do I form the argument on why it is that Nico Harrison had to do it that way? As everyone says, why would you not shop him and just go all around the league? Because you get everyone in the league. Let's name them: Jokic, Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, players you wouldn't trade for Luka Doncic. Every other team in the league is in play for this player, correct?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I mean, did the Celtics trade Jason Tatum?
I think so. I think so, yes.
You think? You think Boston would be into getting like a white superstar?
Yeah, I think Boston would be into that.
10 years of a white superstar. Because the other thing...
Boston also likes guys who show up every night. I mean, you're sitting here slamming Anthony Davis, 70 games one time, last 7 years, I think it is, for Anthony Davis. 60 twice in the last 9 years or something like that. Luka doesn't play that much either. I mean, when's the last time you've seen Luka on a basketball court?
Sue, I know you're asking a question, but
the finals.
People have had 48 hours
Good
to
answer.
ask themselves why would Dallas do this? And Tim McMahon is reporting stuff. There's stuff about Luka's conditioning. I mean, Luka puts out that statement, doesn't thank the Dallas front office at all. Clearly, there was a big schism between the two, but I think I was kind of introduced to Nico Harrison. I learned, as someone that's not really watching the NBA all that much during the regular season anymore, who is running the Dallas Mavericks. But for me, what really resonated is, well, who no longer is running the Dallas Mavericks anymore? To your Mark Cuban point, like, this is very clearly something that would have never happened.
Never. Well, Mark Cuban has been asked before. Like, he's been asked straight up of his marriage, which was more likely. You don't have Luka Doncic on the Mavericks or you get divorced. And he's like, I'm going to court to get my marriage papers. That will never happen on my watch. When I say fishy, it stretches. Like, Mark Cuban got out, and we're all like, why would he get out? He loves that thing. Why would he get out? Because he thought value was highest, as he's talking now about buying Fox. Like, how do I get the money to buy Fox? Because I started with broadcast properties, and I've used up what I love about basketball. It was weird to have this happen anywhere around Mark Cuban's watch. I'm guessing he's ashamed that he owns 27% of that. Of that having happened because he no longer controls that team. And he told us he would. He did say when in the original transaction, he said he'd still be running the Mavericks, and he clearly is not. But let's discuss for a second, what are you guys hearing or reading on the other side of this? Just allow me for a moment to indulge the idea that Nico Harrison isn't a complete idiot.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Even as I understand, all of sports is shouting, how could you? Whatever. Like, I just can't believe how unison this is, that we can't agree on anything in this country except this.
Nico Harrison's an idiot.
It's an idiot.
It's united.
Yes.
Even if you take everything he's saying at face value, and like Luka does have serious conditioning issues, and there's going to be health issues there, you could still get more for Luka Doncic. So, like, yeah, even if everything he's saying is true, why did you do it this way?
In a league where Gobert goes for 5 first-round picks, in a league where the Lakers got Anthony Davis for 3 first-round picks and 3 good players, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, and Brandon Ingram. They got everything. This will always bring a halt. And, of course, if what I'm telling you is so, if the asset is I've got a historic international global icon superstar, 25 years old. You can have 10 years of him. It's a historic player. Stan Van Gundy says the best offensive player that there is. Mm-hmm. Or ever. I know, you could disagree with that, but still. I do. But okay, you could disagree, and many people would, but I'm just saying you're talking about somebody who's in his prime and 25. The last time this became available, it was LeBron. LeBron says this is his favorite teammate ever. Like, this is his favorite player to watch ever, is what he says. And now we can have the discussion about whether he's the best teammate LeBron James has ever had. And I will insult Mike Ryan there.
Well, he's not.
No, because he's going to be teammates with Steph Curry soon.
Right.
Or on the Knicks. We're going to have that conversation too, aren't we?
Everyone that is plugged into league circles think that this is basically the move before the move, and signs are pointing to LeBron going to Golden State. And it appears that Jimmy Butler's also playing ball with that by saying, I'm not going to sign an extension with Golden State, as he's apparently just willing to sign an extension with Phoenix.
His best teammate ever is obviously Bronny, but we could talk about second best.
Right. Dallas should have pushed it. They should have said, we want Bronny back.
Indulge me for a second as I ask you this question, because why does it have to just
that question.
Why does it have to just be Lakers? If we're all assuming you could have done better than just Anthony Davis and a first-round pick, when Paul George goes for however many first-round picks, what was it, 6 first-round picks? Is it possible that because you know that the moment Luka knows that you're doing this, that you're robbing him of $100 million? He can no longer get the Supermax. Nico Harrison was in front of people saying yesterday he probably doesn't want to talk to me because he was just cost $100 million by a franchise. When it comes to loyalty in sports, and Kevin Durant was saying this yesterday, he was saying, man, you guys require it of us, but when it comes to the teams, that's cold. Like that guy had a relationship with that team, and you blindside him in the age of power and you take $100 million from him. So indulge me. He can't have the information guys knowing this. He cannot have people knowing that Luka is available a year and a half out, because then the dealing will start right then for how it is that Miami gets into the mix and all the other suitors get into the mix. And then it becomes a business decision that Luka is making instead of one that Dallas is making. And there is the fight. Like, there's the fight of 15 years of this stuff where the player power, they just stripped him of it at the end. He had a relationship. Oh, you're not going to do Dame Lillard to us. We're not going to wait for you to become a free agent or fat. And we're not going to let you make a mess of this. There has to be some logical reason why Nico Harrison would choose this route, because if there isn't, it's malpractice.
Well, he said defense wins championships.
Yep.
That was part of his reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could see how. Well, no, I can't. They're not better without Luka, but they're not a bad team.
They made it to the finals last
year. They're
right.
Like, even with this trade, I like their whole plan of, hey, let's just get LeBron's co-stars maybe a couple years after their prime and see what kind of run that we can go on. But Dallas is still going to be competitive.
But offensively, they've gotten worse.
No doubt. They just lost Luka Doncic.
They made it to the finals because Luka Doncic was really good.
Okay, but one of the things that exasperates me, you guys tell me if you guys have been thinking or hearing about this at all. Because I get enticed and delighted by the idea of LeBron and Luka playing together as well. Worst defensive team in the league as soon as he steps on the court. Mm-hmm. Without Anthony Davis? Are you kidding me? Are you like they're talking about Vucevic's and Jerkic's and Valanciunas, and what they need to get is Robert Williams, because that is going to be with JJ Redick as coach. Like, Caruso's not there anymore. They don't have an ability to guard anybody, and now they just added the worst defensive player in the league. Nobody cares about this because it's just stars, noise, intrigue, fishy, malpractice. But here is Charles Barkley, and I happen to agree with him. If Anthony Davis plays, he's really good. And he's somebody that's going to make he'll make the Mavericks better than the Rockets.
OKC, they're my favorite to win this thing. But, man, the Dallas Mavericks, they might have just became the second best team in the Western Conference because the jury is still out. I think Denver needs to make a trade because they need to get some bench help. The Rockets are so young. I'm not going to take the Rockets beating the Mavs in a 7-game series. The Memphis Grizzlies, I like their team, but, man, Dallas, this is going to be a very fun thing.
He's the only one saying that, right?
I think so, yeah, that Dallas, he's not saying they got the better end of the trade, but for the immediate future, he's saying Dallas has a legitimate shot of getting back to the NBA Finals.
It really can't be Nico Harrison's an idiot, right?
Sure it can.
Well, it can be.
Why not?
I mean,
why can't it be?
Can it be? What does he know about Luka that we don't?
You've never.
I know that's the weight stuff, and there are reports, but it doesn't make sense. There's got to be more that they know about Luka.
That's what I was saying before. Ask yourself why this guy who knows he's going to be ridiculed today and the entire week, right? Put his job on the line, essentially, his reputation. Why would he want to trade Luka Doncic? Think about that.
You've never seen new leadership and known right away that they're making bad decisions and the entire country's going to fall apart? I mean, the league.
Folks, did you know that sleep is one of the most important parts of recovery? Whether you're a pro athlete or just looking to crush your day, getting the right kind of rest is key. And that's where Sleep Number Smart Beds comes in. Since 2018, Sleep Number has partnered with the NFL to help elite athletes get quality sleep that they need to perform at their best. In fact, 80% of NFL players sleep on Sleep Number Smart Beds. Tough workout? The Sleep Number Smart Bed can be adjusted to suit your needs. Firmer one night, softer the next, giving you the ultimate recovery boost. And let's talk about those sweaty, sleepless nights. The new Climate Cool Smart Bed adjusts up to 15 degrees cooler on either side with scientifically designed cooling programs to keep you comfortable and undisturbed. Sleep Number Smart Beds don't just help you sleep, they learn how you sleep, providing personalized insights to help you get even better rest. It's like having a sleep coach right in your bedroom. Why choose a Sleep Number Smart Bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now, save 50% on the new Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never, ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to. There is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.
Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan. It is big game week, and I've got just the thing to make your big game time a Miller time. From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and great tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and when you're hosting your ultimate game day party, why don't you bring out a beautiful silver platter of that amazing white can and know you will make everybody there happy, because Miller Lite is the original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Dan Le Batard.
Sports.
Stugotz.
More sports.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I will have this conversation with Jessica and Mike because I just don't get to believe in the modern age that the internet gets to be right. Howling in unison on a single thing. United on a single thing.
It's not the internet.
It's like Zach Lowe. It's like all the NBA reporters.
No, but I'm just saying the internet. I'm saying
consensus can be right a majority of the
I'm
time.
not just reading like NBA meme reactions, Dan.
This is not Legion Hoops here.
I'm saying
NBA Centel.
Everybody. I'm saying everybody. When I say the internet, I mean all of us. That's what I mean.
We usually when it's like that overwhelming, I haven't done the breakdown on majority consensus. But usually, if in a time where it's hard to get consensus, usually that majority is right.
Okay, so if that's the case, you were the only person in the world saying Wemby was going to be a bust. There was consensus on the other side of basketball from the internet yelling at you that Wemby was not going to be a bust. And you were relying on he's going to break. And now De'Aaron Fox is going to be better than he's ever been.
Yeah, but I was also saying Wemby's unfair. So I staked out every take.
Okay.
And he is super unfair.
Yep.
And he's ruined the league. And we all know this now.
Who are the players, Stugotz, that Dallas could have called? And they're untouchable. The answer's no. You go to Denver, the answer's no.
Minnesota probably. Do you think Minnesota says Anthony Edwards? Yeah.
They've got ownership.
They say no.
They've got ownership issues as well. They say no, you think?
I think they stay with Edwards, yes.
Okay, because Anthony Edwards, offensively, Anthony Edwards is not as good a player as Luka is. Like, that's not...
He's there every night, though. I mean, he is. He plays every night.
Okay.
Guy loves basketball. Guy's in shape.
Okay, but Minnesota fell back now that they don't have Cat anymore, and he's got to take a bunch of threes, and he's pretty unhappy there as he sees them slide behind the others. So I'm saying that maybe it's Giannis. Maybe Giannis, but I'm really not sure.
Oh, I think the Bucks say no.
You would have
who says no? Man, I've been waiting for this game for 20 years.
Well, but Stugotz, everybody was playing it this weekend.
I know. I think San Antonio says no, obviously, right?
But they're for. My point is, the bidding war is between 27 teams. What do you want? Yes, of course, we got a shortcut to the finals if we have one guy.
Well, you were saying that you have to do this in the shadows because you don't want it to be known, because then if it's known by Luka, he gets to exact power over the situation. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. He has to play for another full season after this for that team. So his threat of, I'm not going to extend with you. Okay, if I'm a contender, I do that right now. Especially, say this is a scenario in which Los Angeles keeps LeBron James. He's 40 years old. I got basically a one-season window to make this work. It's only going to cost me Anthony Davis and a first-round pick. I imagine if you sound the klaxon and let everybody know, you're probably doing your franchise a disservice by keeping this as covert as you did and only reaching out to reportedly 2 teams.
Can you tell me more about the klaxon, please, and the sounding of the klaxon? Because I'm not familiar with this as an instrument. It's the first I'm hearing of it.
He was an old guard for the Warriors.
The thing that I'm asking you, because, okay, I'll grant you, consensus is totally right. Nico Harrison is just a fool. He doesn't know how to do his job. He just bumbled and accidentally traded an asset. The job is to get maximum value for the job. The job is to get maximum value out of your assets.
According to Charles, he did.
Okay, so
here's what I'm talking about consensus. It's easy. Like, they're going to be outliers, and they're going to be far more memorable because you're going to be able to say, well, everyone thought so-and-so was going to be a bust, but it ended up being a good pick. And I remember it because it was against the odds. If you've ever played in a fantasy league and you add a new member and everyone knows this guy's a sucker, he's going to make terrible trades, that person usually sucks in your fantasy league. It's I'm telling you, it hits like 99% of the time. You know the sucker in your fantasy league the second he makes his first move.
Okay, and so my question to you is, what would make this person whose job it is at the top of a sports organization to maximize asset value call only one person to not create a leveraging negotiation in any way, what would be such a strong power that would make this person risk the foolishness of this and just the incompetence of it becoming public where we all can see that is not the correct way to do that, if not for he's out there as a mask for the organization on whatever it is here that is worse than we know, which is every basketball person I've reached out to this weekend, and a lot of them who know things, they're like, that doesn't make any sense. There's something else going on here. Like there has to be something else before the explanation and after the explanation. What would be the explanation for why Nico Harrison would do this? Because I think you have to keep it quiet becomes such a strong impulse that it's the only way we get to the shock and awe of, wait a minute, in the information age, you just surprised us with a monster where we're questioning Shams' credibility.
I mean, it's possible that there's stuff that hasn't been reported yet, but I don't think we can jump to those conclusions without knowing any of that. All we have right now is his explanation for it and a lot of the analysis on it, which, Anthony Davis is a better player than I think people are giving him credit for, and he's played a lot more games than I think he's getting credit for over the last 3 seasons. And Luka Doncic is obviously an amazing top 5 player in the league, but it still doesn't really make a lot of sense that it happened now and in this way.
I do believe Anthony Davis is getting slandered here and has been for a while, and it's because of the reason you guys say, which is that 7-foot body doesn't hold up. It starts to break all over the place. Be tougher, be stronger. Luka doesn't play that much either. and he's 25, and the out of shape thing, right? We're at the point that we all understand that James Harden gets in and out of shape however it is that he feels, if he's feeling the joy of an employer, right? Pay me my maximum money, make me comfortable. I'm guessing that Luka was very comfortable in Dallas.
Of course he was comfortable in Dallas. He never had to play, and no one said anything. I mean,
can I ask,
James Harden having a pretty good year, by the way.
Yes. Can I ask you guys this about, I don't think people care about the humanity in this, but picking up Luka's life overnight on a weekend when he's got a relationship with a city, when he's from another country, when he came here as a teenager and that city embraced him and it's what he knows of America embracing him and he likes it there. In the middle of the night, to snatch him out of that and surprise him and to not know it's coming from an employer or anywhere else, you would understand why that would wound someone, no? And be discombobulating for whatever the next few weeks of his life are going to be.
Yes. No matter the amount of money that they have, I understand it. He's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
They have their transition plan. He's one of the biggest stars in the league, and he's going to a marquee franchise. I guess he was like, "Damn, that hurt. Where I'm going? Where? All right, sweet.
All right, LeBron.
All right.
Yeah.
I get to be more marketable in Los Angeles than I could ever be as a Dallas Maverick. I'm going to be the face of the league over here. I may actually hop on that treadmill now."
Dan, are you trying to take us to a place, because you seem to be confused as to why this happened, how it could happen so silently. Are you headed down a place where the NBA forced a trade? Adam Silver.
Oh, no.
You're talking about the powers that could make this happen. Maybe they wanted Luka in L.A., 25-year-old Luka Doncic in L.A. with LeBron James, and the Lakers are relevant for the next 15 years. You're going to throw me out?
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
I'm good. You're good. We're good.
I think I need to make you good on that one because, no.
I'm reckless to begin with.
I'm not going to do that. And this is a big sloppy week for Stugotz, and we've gotten it off to the wrong start, I got to be honest, because God Bless Football is the number one it's the number one football podcast in America.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And it's headed to the Super Bowl. Billy Gill has a stomach ailment. Bad time for a stomach ailment.
The worst.
Yeah, and everyone, I see suitcases and there's rain outside and people are like, our company is now in full force headed to the Super Bowl. Stugotz is going to head out shortly.
Yeah.
You say it's a bad time. Most people would ask, is there ever a good time for a stomach virus? But if there is, I'd say a couple days before I gorge on Super Bowl food.
Right.
This is actually probably a pretty good time. Clear out your system.
Get it
It's got
out.
a nice little base layer.
Yeah.
I have 7 days to recover before I just shock my system with garbage.
Does he have norovirus?
I have no idea.
It's going around.
Billy ill.
This is not a good time for any of this. Yes, we think Billy. I think that's just a HIPAA violation. I think we've just, regardless, he's hurting right now, and he's trying to get to the Super Bowl, and this gets in the way. You
With
guys,
the toilet bowl.
Play on.
You guys would agree with me that there are very few stories in sports that would have these many elements, that it has to happen in basketball. It has to be the transaction. It has to involve stars. It has to have fishiness and malpractice in it for it to be something that knocks the Super Bowl out of the way. And shocking sports fans and Stugotz. This part, to me it matters. Do you know how hard it is to shock us in the information age with information? Like, do you know how hard it is for something like this not to be rumored, talked about, in any way whispered in any corner where there is power?
It came out of nowhere.
God, it was
like I woke up that morning, I was stunned by it.
It was like crack being able to break that news to people. Oh, dude.
Right.
Oh, it was the
Who
best.
didn't know yet?
It was the best.
You're like the newsroom meme. You're like, I delivered the news. They're like, Mike, we're drunk. We don't care.
I was shocked because it happened very late at night, but I was still awake. And then I woke up the next morning, did my routine, took my supplements, drank my coffee, and then I opened up the internet. And then 15 minutes after I woke up, I was reminded that it wasn't a fever dream, that it actually happened. And I got to relive it all over again. And as people on the West Coast were waking up, I got to deliver the news again. God, what a day.
They were awake, though, when it happened. That was what frustrated me. I woke up at 6 a.m. Sunday morning, and Lehman was already halfway to his fishing trip in the Keys. And then he's like, wake up, the craziest NBA trade of all time just happened. And I was like,
this was a wake up. This was a wake up.
He made me call him from the car so he could talk about it. And I was like, that's crazy. And he was just like blabbering on and on.
This was a wake up? How often are there wake up calls? There's been a trade in your life.
This is probably the first one. I mean, normally they happen when I'm awake. Not this one.
I bet you Stugotz talked to Abby about it.
I did.
Yeah. I did. I told my wife too. I'm like, hold up. You're not going to believe what happened. She doesn't understand any of the players.
She didn't care at all.
She didn't really care, but it's just like, you don't understand.
Chris?
I wish you did so I can contextualize how massive this is.
What was your experience with this, Chris? Did you wake up groggy? Did you smell of beer? Did you learn the news?
Well, that's every morning.
I, like Mike, woke up in the morning, and I had seen it late at night, but I was like, I had this like foggy feeling of like, that was a dream? That happened? That actually happened. And I went back to Twitter. I was like, oh, because it felt like a dream trade. Like that. Wait, no way that.
I'll tell you what happened to me.
Davis.
I will tell you. I grabbed the iPad and I'm headed to the bathroom, groggy at whatever hour it is. And when I come upon the story, it's there on ESPN. I look at it and I'm like, the internet's fooling me again. And I close my laptop because when those lights get in my eyes, it'll keep me up. And I just went back to sleep saying, this is clearly fake. I'm not going to fool for this, nor am I going to adjust my eyesight enough to even go on the check to see if other people are talking about this. I'm going to see if I can get back to sleep.
The iPad has replaced the newspaper as the thing you bring into the bathroom, huh?
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Has the iPad replaced the newspaper as the thing you bring into the bathroom?
It's a sad day.
How does that work? Do you like rest it on your thighs?
I wasn't sitting down. I was just walking and checking in with the internet on my way to the bathroom.
Like holding a giant iPad in front of your face?
Yeah, just
like a morning pape.
But when you do sit down, do you bring the iPad with you, like for a read? No.
Why the toilet talk?
I'm just wondering because that's interesting to me. It used to be the newspaper, and now I'm guessing it's been replaced by the iPad.
But this was 2:00 in the morning.
You share with the iPad.
Well, Dan, I do. I share with my phone. It's fine.
I share with my phone all the time.
I know it's nothing. You're not proud to admit it, but it's a safe space.
It's the best phone time. It really is.
All of a sudden, your knees are asleep.
You guys have kids, and you have to sometimes hide from your kids in order to
salvation.
Use the iPad.
He's still denying it, Mike.
Yeah. I don't understand this. It has nothing to do with kids. And reading your phone and being on that toilet for 20 minutes.
Glorious.
It is, quite honestly, the best of times.
I disagree. I don't like it in there. I don't. Like, it's not for me.
Elbows on the knees.
No,
everyone loves their own brand a little bit. Look in, see how you're doing.
Are you okay?
You guys don't sit like this?
No, sometimes I do.
Roy, did you care?
Sometimes just right elbow, sometimes just left.
Roy, did you care at all in any way about any of this?
Yeah, I was at church when I found out, and I said, holy and people heard me and looked at me while in church. So,
in church?
Yeah. It was that big of a deal.
Wow, so you woke up and went all the way to church and you like didn't get any notifications on your phone?
No.
That's shocking in this day and age.
No, I try to limit my notifications.
Now I feel like you're lying and you just wanted to get the holy joke off. And I feel like you did see it before church.
You're literally on Twitter
It was
right
still
now.
a good joke.
I mean,
either way.
I have a laptop. This was on my phone. Right, so.
So what's happening right now, Roy, is the general disbelief. The entire room does not believe that you could be off the devices for a couple of
I'm
hours.
writing this down. What time is church?
8:30.
All right.
Okay,
I can see.
doable.
I can see.
Yeah.
If it was 10 a.m., you are a liar, my friend.
Yeah, 8:30. That's
I'll give it to you.
intense.
Early
Yeah,
church.
8:30. Yeah. What time did you wake up?
Around 7.
Okay. Yeah. No, this makes sense.
I'll give it to you. All right.
Yeah. You gotta
It's
get
plausible.
Now
Yeah.
it's like a
Got
whole
Princess
hour
Claire.
that you probably might have like just get a little check, see the push notification.
Do you poop in the morning?
Let's see if you tweeted between 7 and 8
You always
a.m.
poop in the morning?
Every morning.
And you don't check your phone?
Not really.
Well,
no.
you have a
I'm
green
trying to get up
text.
out of there, man.
You have a green text. Enjoy
right.
That has nothing to do with it.
You're in a rush.
You know what? That
Yeah.
kind of helps.
No, it does?
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah,
Well, the
I
phone
wouldn't check
slows
your
it
phone.
down.
Yeah, I wouldn't check my phone if I had to try.
Okay.
So holy in the church, you exclaimed it, and what happened?
I got glaring looks at it. What are you doing cursing at church?
So what?
Did you explain, like, Luka got traded? And then they were like, oh, okay, yeah, no, peace be with you.
No, I was in the middle of pastor talking, so I can't do it.
Princess Claire was there?
No, she was in the kids section, so she didn't hear me.
The kids
I'm
section.
not really sure I know what to do with you not checking your phone during toilet time, but checking your phone in the middle of a sermon.
It happens sometimes, you know.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes,
It
you know,
seems-
say the same
well,
thing
but-
over
but
and
it
over.
se- it
Yeah,
seems like
same message.
It,
Yep.
it seems like near the confessional booth, shouting "Holy shit" in church would also be something that would qualify as something akin to sin, would it not?
But I guess, well, that's a Catholic thing, isn't it? Like, I don't know how that works.
What
so.
is?
The
Communion?
confessional?
Oh,
Confessional.
confession.
He
yeah.
said confessional.
But forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I checked my phone during the sermon and not when I was pooping.
How does that work, though? Aren't you already saved? Like, all your sins have already been forgiven after you accept the deity of Christ?
Yeah, after the whole baptism thing. Yeah.
So then you're good.
Yeah. I got asked for forgiveness every now and then, but yeah, I guess I'm good.
Baptism's
why
for
do we-
original sin, I thought.
Okay, so
It depends on the religion.
all right.
Yeah. What,
Just
Pentecostal?
I'm just trying to learn here.
Are you saying the priest mailed it in, Roy, with the sermon yesterday? Did he
No,
mail it in?
I'm not saying that it was mailed in. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes
like
I
it
forgot to
was.
check my phone, so I looked at it and said, oh.
You were bored at church and distracted.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. You know, you hear the same thing over and over every other week. You know, that's what happens.
I wanted to make an amen joke, but I don't know how the Thompson kid in Houston pronounces it.
It's amen, isn't it?
I wish I watched the sport enough to get that joke. Hey, folks, it's Mike Ryan. It is big game week, and I've got just the thing to make your big game time a Miller time. From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and great tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and when you're hosting your ultimate game day party, why don't you bring out a beautiful silver platter of that amazing white can and know you will make everybody there happy, because Miller Lite is the original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to. There is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.